Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series Winter Americas edition. I'm Nathanius, joined by Zombie Grub as we move on to the lower bracket match here in Group G4.
Well, grapes, what you said last time.
I was giving you an opportunity to say something else.
No, that's
Okay.
that's absurd. It's for Geyber Forest, which is the first map.
Okay, well, indeed it is as we get ready to go into our next match. It's going to be a Terran versus a Zerg, Australia versus America. Always a fun matchup, I guess, when it comes to StarCraft 2 in America's region.
I was gonna say, like, what is there?
A lot of beef gets thrown around on
Eh.
which server players get stuck on as well.
I don't know if there's any historical fights between America and Australia.
No,
I don't think so.
a bit far away.
It's not a weird thing for us to
It's
fight.
like we could send each other like angry texts, but at the end of the day, it's like, nah, we're good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Good results so far as we get ready for this series. Seither was knocked down by Coffee, had that tough series. Coffee played very well. The match is a starting, and we are getting into this next game. I'm excited.
Yep.
Good TvZ. A lot of TvZ today.
Well, when you have two Terrans, two Zergs, that's
Yeah, well, I mean,
goes down.
yeah, it's been nice. We got some good TvZ out of Ziggy as well in the European group, so.
Yeah, that's true. But it is now on Cyber Forest. TvZ, number 1, in the top left. As the blue Terran, SYF. It is Seither.
He faces off against our red Zerg player in the southeast. He is Silky from Psystorm Gaming.
Well, I don't know if these guys have actually played that much against each other. So Seither has that. Seither's been a name on the forefront of the Australian scene, I think, for a while. But then he had that issue where I forget exactly what it was, but he just he doesn't like flying. He just like traveling. So wasn't he the one that he would sometimes even make events or have an opportunity, and then he would say, "Actually, I'm not going to go." I think that was Seither.
Not aware of that. It is a long trip to go anywhere from Australia, though.
It is very much so. But yeah, he's been kind of talked up. You know, Australia's always had their really prominent players. I think Probe being probably still the most prominent, but unfortunately falling out of the group. Oh, yesterday, the day before. Can Seither do any better for the Australian guys? As his TvT did not look too convincing versus Coffee. Yeah.
No, he tried to play a mech build, and I'm guessing that we're probably going to see him bust out some mech here. Mech is definitely a lot better versus Zerg than it is versus Terran these days. And, yeah, Coffee just kind of played very straight up TvT. He did ye old Marine Tank Raven, and it basically won him both games. Very crisp, clean, fresh 2-0. That was our first match of this group, but I like me some TvZ. The best thing about TvZ is that it's the hardest to break down because there's so many different things you can do.
You think?
TvT, I think, is pretty streamlined right now. TvP is also, it's like, yeah, you're either going to proxy, do this weird Hellion drop, and then it's a 2-base Marine Tank all in where you pull all your SCVs. Generally, that's what's going to happen. But TvZ, the world's your oyster. You've got Hellions, Hellbats, Banshees, Liberators, Battlecruisers, all sorts of different builds that we still see. We still even see some Mind Play early on occasionally.
Yeah. Some people even throw out the 2-1-1s. That's a true point.
Yeah. That's why I like Terran versus Zerg. I mean, for Terran, you have the most options. Like, you can still kind of mess around in TvT to some degree, but it's a little bit more volatile. As we saw, the current meta build is very good if you don't also do the same meta build, as that's why Seither is down here in the lower bracket.
Yeah.
We don't even know what a long game with him looks like without him having his third base blown up or him just dying on 2 bases.
Yeah, I think this will be the game we see what he actually has his mind towards, how he plays that mid game and late game. We actually have Widow Mines on the way.
Speaking of his mind, there's mine,
Now.
Zombie Grub.
Yeah.
Look at you. 300 IQ commentary right there. You knew he was going to do that.
Yeah, obviously. Widow Mine drop. Quadruple Widow Mine drop.
So that's what I'm saying, is I would have probably been my last guess as to what build he would have done. That might be why this works, you know? You don't see this as much as some of the other stuff. I mean, even the Hellion drop, I'd guess, is more popular because you do usually see the proxy starport, I guess, with Hellion drop.
Yeah.
But the Marines are coming out. You want to push the Overlord away. The Overlords are not. That's it. That's actually the only Overlord that's really like on the map.
So I wonder what's going through Silky's head here. So he didn't get to really see far, deep into the base, but saw the factory, saw supply depot making on 2-1-1. But if it seemed like the Marines showing away his Overlord, and if he had seen the medevac pop out, he might have been assuming that there were some Hellions bulked up somewhere and there's like an armory on the way. But it's, he would be wrong. It's just a Widow Mine drop behind enemy lines, not an attack to the front. And actually it wasn't quadruple. He does go back into Hellion production past the 2. But it's still damage. I mean, drones also get one-shot by Widow Mines like probes. It can be a lot. The difference is the Queens are there to usually help out, and that they still have the same micro. One drone and one Widow Mine. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what he can get done here. He's got this medevac flying in. There go the mines. 1 down, 2 down, and both of them dropping on the same spot. Not going to play out super well for Seither as his mine drop is just completely smacked down. But now the Hellion reminder, the third base is going to grab some drones. 7 drones killed. If he gets out with all the Hellions, I'd say that's good, only because he did lose the mines.
Yeah.
So, solid play so far. Does lose one of the Hellions there. I don't like that. I feel like you want to get those Hellions back, maybe follow up with the Hellion drop with the Liberator on the 3rd. I feel like there's some good momentum potentially here. Armories are on the way for Seither as well back home. He's going to be booting up those factories, and we are going to see some mech play here out of our Terran player. Mech's doing very popular. We still see it a ton from WCS to GSL. Terrans around the world have increased their factory production, Zombie Grub, compared to the days of old.
There's no Overlord to the south over here, that is, so the drop does commence, and Silky had just moved his Spore Crawler and his Queen to go help out in the north side, I believe. So luckily for him, it wasn't 4 Hellions, or even 3. It was a very ragtag group of units in that medevac, but it could have been more damage. The game continues on. Centrifugal Hooks is on the way for Silky. I mean, from his eyes, he's seen like 6 Hellions total.
Yeah, I guess you're thinking about Hellbats.
Yeah, Hellbats, and you also might not be thinking about mech quite yet, although that should become apparent very, very soon, and you should be scouting for it too, but it's possible he just wants the Banelings for those Hellbats.
Yeah, need to be on top of everything. I do really like how fast he's got these upgrades. Very rare to see the double armory going before the evolution chambers. So at no point will the Zerglings be able to sustain an extra hit from his Hellions, which is really good, actually. And seeing the number of Lings on the map, I would love to see him invest in everything and just not build anything other than Hellions out of his current factories. I love seeing some Terran players do that. I think there was a bit of that last night from Bunny as well. Just a good way to kind of keep your production moving, but also having your gas resources invested elsewhere. But I guess he has everything that he needs now. There's Blue Flame. I do really like this. There's a Spire on the way. Yeah, Silky's kind of set up for Ling Bane Muta.
Yeah, I feel like he's been a little under the idea that it's going to be bio for a while. Like the +1 melee, at least. Like I would have expected something else to be thrown down by this point.
You can go Ling Bane Hydra, but yeah, the fact that he hasn't added even like a Roach Warren, like in a weird world where he does just build like 25 Hellions and pushes right now with Blue Flame, he would kill him. So he doesn't have anything other than Zerglings and Banelings.
He sees tanks, and then he sees the armories, and that's when he slaps on the Roach Warren. But you can make the opening he chose work. It's not like he's dead for this, but he does cancel the +1 melee, so he was under false assumptions.
Yep. And the Mutalisks are hard to make work when the Terran player Seither already goes straight into Thors. Thinking about maybe doing a Thor drop, I guess. That Overseer in its weird siege mode over the main base is going to eat a ton of Thor rockets. God, this is painful. Wow. Just, there we go. There's the Vikings. Something to kill that a little bit faster.
Yeah, with the Mutas. There they are. Well, the Overseer did a great job tanking those shots. Also revealed that there are Thors. This is not going to be a freebie 10 SCVs, or hopefully not, unless Seither's really out of position. He does not have missile turrets. There we go now. A little late to that, I suppose, but that's where the Thors come in.
It's late enough to be annoying. A couple of SCVs get picked off. Potentially vulnerable tank. In low numbers, Vikings actually trade really well against Mutas.
Yes, they do.
Just that bit of kiting.
It's also, like, if you really are surprised by Mutas, Vikings do a great job to buy that time until you get the Thors, or Widow Mines, or missile turrets, whatever. Their range is their greatest strength.
Yes. It's Mutalisk is I think the only flying unit with less hit points than a Viking. They can trade reasonably effectively against them.
Well, roaches are now on the way as Silky just entirely shifts gears. I mean, it's possible that he could have run away with, I was going to say, like a faster hive, and there it is, as he had just finished the infestation pit. As he controls at least the game a little with these mutas, he keeps tabs on Seither and would see exactly when the move out was. He knows how much time he has, and filling out your army with just roaches isn't actually that fantastic. You want those Vipers, of course, or something else alongside it whenever that push comes, and it is going to be one of those direct pushes with tanks. We're not talking about Cyclone mech here.
Yeah. This is ye old standard mech. However, he's making use of all of the assets available to him, the good upgrades, and I really like to see transformation servos. It's a great ability to have, being able to swap those Hellions, because the thing is, you want your Hellions in Hellion mode until you get rid of the Banes, and then yes, run everything in Hellpaths. Of course, if your tanks do a good job, you don't never need to turn them into Hellions, because the tanks ideally zone away the Banelings. That Baneling train tries to run by, and it will be destroyed. But the Hive's about to finish. If Seither wanted to make like an early push, now is the perfect time, I think. He would be able to hit just before there are Vipers. Since Silky is maxed out, he does need to bleed some units out if he wants to build stuff.
I think you're right, but he is still pinned back a little. Now he unsieges. There he goes. So his upgrades are done. He will max out on the way forward, but he has to do this still very slowly, which is exactly what Silky wants to have happen. That's why he's out in the front like this. He wants to force the siege ups and then maybe even get the Lings off to the side to be able to run through once he realizes he is truly being pushed. But this is all buying enough time for those Vipers.
Yep. And good control so far from Seither, though. Oh, wow, that Mutalisk backstab. He did not have a turret at that base. Oh, the Ling run by Silky.
Wow.
You dirty boy.
Every single base is now under attack. Tanks might be taken out as well. They didn't get that upgrade, but these Lings, are still a lot of them. 18, 23, 25. So many SCVs go down, and this army doesn't even go to the middle of the map. It kind of goes to the top and to the right, giving Silky a lot of time to replace whatever he lost with this and get those Vipers into position.
God, he has no workers anymore. They're all on the third base, and the Zerglings are there, just ripping and tearing with nothing to contest them. 42 SCVs have died in the making of this film, and now the army has approached that right side base. But the tanks are very clumped up. The Vikings are going to need to really be on point with killing those Vipers and also dodging Parasitic Bomb using the land ability.
Yeah, which he has transformation servos.
He has servos, so it won't be that hard for him to just go down and get right back up and to avoid Curse Bomb.
It is a lot about these Vipers. Where exactly are they going to be coming in from? To the
south?
They should be to the right, actually. And they avoid the Vikings.
Yeah.
If Silky can do it, he might be able to just collapse on this army, and he would take a win after that. See, there's still 28 workers. There he goes.
There we go. Beautiful blinding clouds, and then abducts one of the other tanks forward into the range of those Ravagers. Some of those Biles missed the tanks on the left side, so I think that this fight goes maybe a little bit better than it should have for Seither. But yeah, he's still going to get routed. So.
Yep, killed a base, but didn't kill the drone. Silky transferred them to his other fourth, his fifth, and cleans up a lot of expensive, slow-building units from Seither who can, I guess, somewhat replace them. He still has 3 mules at a time, but he never went back and rebuilding those SCVs. It's a completely all-in. Silky comfortably with a bang, comfortably at 160 supply. Seither's just dead.
Yeah. Super, super dead here, unfortunately. And just more Lings, Ravagers, upgrades coming in. Seither is going to hang in there until these Roaches and Ravagers are on top of his factories. And then we should see the tap out. But there's nothing you can do here. He's only got 28 workers versus 75. Files down the tank. He's going to try to hold the door. Mass repair the Thor. But unfortunately, body still hits the floor. GG, Silky takes the first map in our lower match. Very well done. Good defense. Widowmines did nothing. Hellions get some damage done, but not enough. I mean, 6 drones is like, I kill it and I get out damage. 6 drones is not, I will sacrifice all my Hellions and Reaper damage.
Right. I mean, it really was an okay game.
Actually, now that I think about it, the mines detonated on like a drone, so I think the Hellions really only got like maybe 4 or 5 of them then.
I don't know if that's what happened, but the point is it wasn't a lot from the early game.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't like, you know, he didn't dedicate a lot to that either, so it wasn't like, well, his hell got pushed and works, so I guess he dies. It was 90%, I would say, about that Ling attack.
Yeah, the counterattack was perfect. It's one of the things Silky does a really good job of, actually, having had the misfortune of playing against him on ladder a few times. He's one of those guys, and Mech is actually supposed to be good against that because there's way less opportunities for it to happen. But Silky saw that one moment. It's like, all right, your army's moving out. Choom, big Ling run by and absolutely obliterated the economy of our Terran.
It was perfectly handled. He had these sights on the army with the roaches, and he was buying time with that anyways, and then he knew it would be open for an attack with the Lings. And it really sucks about that. I think we see some really top-tier Terrans, like, they make sure to always send a Hellion both directions before they move out.
Yep.
To spot things like that. And if Seither had done that, this game is still going.
Yeah, I think it's really important to send Hellions to the first 2 bases outside of wherever your limit is. Constantly, actually. It's such a common thing for Zerg players to just put like a Ling on all the bases and then something in front. And if you go anywhere, they always know. That's the hallmark of any good Zerg player. It's one of the things that makes players like, I guess, yeah, Silky and... but, I mean, normally I would think about players like Raynor or Cyril, but this American making use of their tactics to a great degree. We are loaded in to game number 2 on King's Cove in the southeast. We have the blue Terran player. He is Seither. I was telling the players to put on their skins before the game starts so you can show off your flair and your style. Seither said default skins are the hipster pick now, so he doesn't want to use them.
Yep.
Use only default skins so that he can look cool as he faces off against our red Zerg player in the northwest. He is up 1-0. He is Silky.
No skins on the hatchery here either.
What a shame. Bunch of tryhards, zombie grub. What are they playing for money or something? Yeah, they are. They're playing for a lot of money. It's okay. You don't have to. They don't see them, by the way.
Right.
Just so you guys know, some people do. There's been a little bit of confusion. We are here to clear it all up for you. The skins are so that only you are confused. That way you depend on us as commentators more to tell you what's happening since you don't know what units are which.
It's the brood war theory, right? Like, you don't have production tab, you know, you can't see what's in the eggs, so you make a great call and people are like, whoa!
You are so smart for knowing the game! But when you have the production tab, someone's like, well, of course he was doing this. Didn't you see it on the production tab for 40 minutes? I'm like...
Yep. So Silky goes for a pool first. Might be a little scared of that sometimes knee-jerk reaction from some Terrans after losing a macro game to go for a proxy racks, but he also might have been watching the European group where we had Ziggy go for those Reapers, which I guess it's possible Seither does do as well.
Ziggy did it both TvZ maps on this map, so.
If it was defensive, you can always swap it to offensive and vice versa. And the offensive 6 Lings are on the way, so if you really just wanted to stall out Seither, it's unfortunately this time not going to work, but it could have.
It could have, but yeah. That's one of the reasons why you leave that Reaper at home, but if it gets us around, no!
That's really bad.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
That was absolutely perfect. The SCP scout was going to scout any follow-up if the Reaper was busy.
That's a summit monitor punch right there.
Yes, it is.
Oh, my goodness.
And instead, the Reaper wasn't just busy, it actually died. And the 3TC having to be canceled for just 6 Lings
Don't lift off.
Unideal.
Now he can't lift off and build Hellions. And if he builds the starport right there, he's going to see it too.
This is, you know, this is on a ladder game after a 10-loss.
Oh yeah, you alt F4
yeah,
go for
you're
a walk.
out.
Yeah, no. This is the game that tilts you off the edge of the earth.
And this, well, of course, he was not going to tap out. It is.
No, he would be out of WCS if he were to rage quit here.
But it is, it's got to be a damper on his mood after taking that loss last game. So
yeah,
let's recover. It's all about, I would say it's more about mentally recovering. It is a big blow, like physically, as far as this game is going. It's terrible, but I would actually argue that in a lot of cases, it's more about the mentality of being able to bring it back.
Yeah. Okay, this is, trying to break this down is going to be really hard because he's finally got the Hellion production going. That command center is so far away. And third hatch is going to be done soon. And he didn't start a starport. No. So all he can do is build Hellions. He's building a tech lab on the barracks. So he's just going to get Hellions and research STEM and maybe go double eBay third command center? I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking third command center. Okay, so he's going to make it into a 2-base build.
Okay.
That's very interesting. So, I mean, is he going to... what is that? It's a reactor. So it's going to swap up with the barracks with the way that he's built here.
You wonder if he tried to click the Reaper out from those links the last second, and then...
He did.
And then it was just the... Do you think...
the ping.
The ping?
Oh, in that sense?
That 200 millisecond ping?
It's
pulling
very
the
possible.
Reaper away. That's tough.
And I haven't seen a build like this in a little while, but Seither drawing on some older tactics perhaps might be able to make something work here.
This is definitely, it's definitely an audible play. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if this was his original plan, was just go 2 base like 3 racks, but he is being forced to do something. 7 drones picked off is really nice for these Hellions. If he gets anything more, yeah, okay, 8. Yeah, it's a good, healthy amount. He does lose 3 SCVs at home, so kind of.
4, 5. He's just not responding at this point because he doesn't really have a lot of.
Doesn't have enough
units.
Marines.
It's also a situation where by diving with his Hellions, he didn't have anything to stop the scout. So Silky, you know, okay, well, literally gets a full scout with this Ling, but also would have seen Marines anyway.
Yeah, you see that starport's like on the way. It's wow, I don't have to worry about medevacs for another minute at least.
Yeah, it looks like. So Seither didn't end up transferring this off. Maybe he was going to go for a. I mean, it.
I think he was just worried about the Lings. He's like, you know what? I do need to build 2 Hellions because I'm petrified of the idea of a bunch of Zerglings filling in. He wanted to move the barracks onto it, but then he's like, no, wait, I need medevacs. No, wait, he's going to keep building Hellions? What? Is he going to get an armory?
It's hard to say. There are, there's a 2-on-1 build that has the Hellbat all-in aspect to it, so, I mean, maybe he's thinking along those lines, but it would work perhaps if it wasn't scouted. I feel like Silky is going to just be over-prepared for any type of 2-base attack.
Yeah. You get Lings and Baneling speed, that's it. That's all you need. Like, get your 3 bases saturated and do what True would do. You know, just crank out, get up to like 80 Zerglings, 25 Banes. What 2-base build is going to kill you there? You know what I mean? Yeah. Then take a late 4th, and you're good. Get your upgrades, take a very late 4th, and if the Terran attacks you, you kill him. If he doesn't, you're still ahead. So the late 4th doesn't hurt you too much in that scenario.
The only thing that could hurt Silky right now, as he does get the centrifugal hooks as fast as possible, he doesn't go for a greedy 4th. The only thing that could hurt is maybe his creep spread isn't very far out. It's obviously a very fast attack, and he hasn't really had a lot of time to be spread out. So 1 scan will clear up most around that 3rd. Maybe Silky gets overconfident. Seither really, he's going to be grasping at straws, I believe. Silky should have this. It's just like, that the one last maybe I can do it. He doesn't even go to the north. He goes to the west, up to the natural.
He's going to go into the choke point of all choke points, and then a bunch of speed banes are going to crash into him and blow everything up.
Yep, that's exactly what happens on creep. No scan was even used to set up for an attack, really. He just kind of went for it, hoped to find Silky off guard, and he did not.
GG comes out of our Terran player, and that is it. 2-0 victory for Silky as he eliminates Seither from WCS Winter Americas. And that means that Silky will have another opportunity to try and get out of this group as we prepare for our winners match. Very well played. Don't think there's too much more to really say about that. Silky had really good run by in game 1, and then in game 2, sometimes you throw the deep ball on that Ling attack, and sometimes it's 7 points at the end of the game, which went very well. So congratulations to Silky. Moving on. And if you guys like hearing congratulations, if you like feeling good about your life, you should probably check out the Pylon Show. Think of it as that one pylon powering all the wonderful things in your life, and it will never go away, so you're good. It's like a warm, comfortable power field blanket. Check out the Pylon Show today on Twitch/InControlTV every Wednesday. Well, with that being said, we do have a winners match to get to as we continue to move forward with Group G for Great, as we have just those 2 matches, right? Just the winners match, and then we have the decider. So whoever loses this next series is going to fall down to play Silky for the final spot out of the group.
Yeah. Who do you think it's going to be that falls down?
I don't know. I came in here not knowing too much about Coffee, and I suddenly like him. I think Coffee versus TLO looks like a great matchup. I like the Wunderwunsch. I think these 2 players are going to get out based on what I've seen so far. But I don't know what Coffee's TvZ looks like. We're going to find out after the break.